Bob Thomas on the field for the Bears will kick it off, and Barry Redden will go back, number 30 for the Rams. Dave Finzer has been doing the kicking off for Chicago in recent games, starting with about game 2 of the season. He is the team's punter, but Thomas has his kickoff job back, at least for this afternoon. Drew Hill joins Barry Redden along the Rams goal line. Redden number 30 and Drew Hill number 87, and we're ready to play football. And it is a low squib kickoff by Thomas that goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line, and the reason why Thomas kicked off became readily apparent because Thomas's ability to steer that ball in the manner he did. The Bears, Johnny, clearly did not want to give Barry Redden a chance to return the football. He's second in the NFC, averaging 23.5 yards on a kickoff return.
Well, the Rams are very good on the special teams, also on punt returns, and of course the Bears have been switching back and forth between Bob Thomas and Dave Finzer. So a little delay on the opening of this football game with beautiful weather here in the Los Angeles area. I don't think the football players would complain. This is what you like.
And we mentioned Redden's return average, and Drew Hill has returned 16 kickoffs, and he's over the 20-yard mark too, 20.4. So they're both dangerous, and the Bears know it. However, the ball went out of bounds, and so they'll have to do it again from back at the 30-yard line. Again, this time Thomas lets it fly, and it's a good kick coming down at the 5-yard line. Barry Redden hit at the 20-yard line by the first Bear to meet him and greet him, and that was Wilbur Marshall, number 58. And Brian Cabral, number 54, made the initial contact. The reserve linebacker, 15-yard return under the average of the Rams. And the Rams bring out Jeff Kemp at quarterback. Mike Guman is what they call their U-back, playing on the wing. Eric Dickerson will be the main man carrying the ball. Hill and Henriella, the wide receivers. Across the front, David Hill at tight end, Irv Pankey, Ken Hill, Doug Smith, Dennis Harrah, and Bill Bain. A big, strong, and this year very consistent offensive line. Jeff Kemp, 5-2. The quarterback taking over from Vince Ferragamo. Ferragamo is back in uniform today. Not expected to play, however. Dickerson on first down, and he is met by the Bears front and stopped for no gain. Tyrone Keys, number 98, makes the tackle, and Keys starting for the injured Dan Hampton, who is one of the outstanding tackles in the NFL, but has a hyperextended elbow. So it is Hartenstein, McMichael, Keys, and Dent across the front of the 4-3 defense. Wilson, Singletary, and Al Harris, the linebackers. Richardson, Sean Gale for the injured Leslie Frazier on the right corner. Bell and Fensick are the safeties. Second down, and they gave Dickerson about a half yard. Kemp, short drop, now goes back a couple of more and lets it fly. He's got Drew Hill open, but it's overthrown. Drew Hill got behind Mike Richardson all the way to the Bears' 30-yard line. Jeff Kemp overthrew him by about 4 yards.
There's no question that Kemp can show the strong arm when he wants to throw, and I think that the Rams are trying to give the Chicago Bears a message here. They have been playing it fairly tight to the vest, but they opened up with a long bomber right there, and with a better pass, it could have been a touchdown.
Well, you can see that the Rams in passing are 28th, and they're against the third best pass defense in the NFL. And the rushing department, of course, with Dickerson, they're number 4 against the number 1 defense. Third down last week, they were 0 for 10 in this category, and there's a loose ball. They'll be 0 for 11 as the exchange between the center, Doug Smith, and the quarterback, Jeff Kemp, was messed up, perhaps by a miscount. And we'll see if there's a flag. Yes, there is a flag down. So we'll wait and see whether or not the Rams will be punting.
Defense.
No, it is the Bears offside. So that shortens up the third down opportunity. We'll bring up third and about 4, about 4.5. Mike Barber comes into the game, number 86. Mike Guman goes out, so they'll have double tight end. A double tight end situation here for the Rams offensively. David Hill, number 81, and Mike Barber, number 86. Jeff Kemp last week, despite the victory, did not have great numbers himself. 5 of 14, but he threw a touchdown pass to Ron Brown. Pitch out, Dickerson. Net behind the line, breaks a tackle, and then runs into Al Harris, who drives him back. Rams will now have to punt, as there was no gain on the play. And a fine tackle head up by Al Harris, number 90.
And one of the keys, that was a 46 defense. As you can see, Singletary go across the line of scrimmage and bang into Dennis Hara and kind of jam up the play, and then it was Al Harris in on the tackle. The Bears with their weird 46 defense.
John Misko will punt for the Rams. Deep man is Jeff Fisher waiting for it at the Bears' 30-yard line. Misko gets it dandy away. Backing up Fisher to the 26. Away from 2 tacklers and makes a good return to the 38-yard line of the Chicago Bears, who will have their first offensive possession. A 47-yard kick, but a 12-yard return for the Chicago Bears. David Craddock made the tackle, reserve defensive back.
Okay, a nice punt down the field, and Jeff Fisher, who ranks 7th in the NFC in punt returns, of course not doing as well as Henry Ellard here, shows a little, as he turns up the field, a little gutsy running here, never quit, and got a few extra yards as Steve Fuller comes up, his first start at quarterback in a long, long time.
Coverage, but Fisher beat it there. Last time Fuller started, and he will throw on first down, swings it out to Payton. Payton with a nifty move gets to the 45-yard line, a gain of about 8 yards on the play. Carl Eckern made the stop. Fuller's last start, December 12th, 1982, for Kansas City. He was 10 of 21 that day for 136 yards.
Okay, first play of the game for the Bears. They decide to go for the pass and take what the Rams usually give is that short pass, and he dumps it off to Payton. Watch Gary Green, 27. He takes a move from Walter Payton and is grasping for air as Payton gets a nice gain at his 2nd and 2 as the Bears come out throwing.
From the 45-yard line. Down off the wing. Matt Suhey, the fullback. Give it to Payton, and a diving tackle underneath tripped him up, and he was held to no gain. It was Greg Meissner, number 69, the nose man, who beat the center Hilgenberg of the Bears and got a hand on Payton, and then Jack Youngblood, the great veteran, number 85, stopped him there. Here's the Bears offense. Suhey and Payton, the running backs. Willie Galt and Dennis McKinnon playing with a sore knee, the wide receivers. Across the front, Emery Moorhead is the tight end. Covert, Bortz, Hilgenberg, Becker, and Van Horn. 3rd down, and still 2 to go. Suhey in motion again off the wing. Play action. Fuller has a man. Willie Galt had to get up to make the catch, and he has a first down. Galt slipped, but got up and caught the ball in front of Leroy Irvin for a Bears first down in Rams territory.
There was a pass that had to be more than perfect as the Bears, off the play action to Walter Payton, go to the pass, and you'll see Galt slip down and get up, but the pass was right there so that he could still make the catch. Good play by the Chicago Bears. First down to the 38-yard line.
18-yard gain on the play. Last week when Fuller came in for McMahon on the 2nd play of the 2nd half against the Raiders, he finished up 4 of 5 passing. Mind you, they were all short and safe. Nonetheless, he delivered the ball. First down. Gets lots of time going deep. It's overthrown. Intended for Dennis McKinnon. And into the end zone over everybody. There were 3 Ram defenders there. Cromwell and Gary Green, the 2 most prominent. Defensively for the Rams, Jack Youngblood, who had quite a game last week against St. Louis. Meisner on the nose. Reggie Doss on the right side. Linebackers are a solid core. They have Owens, Jim Collins, Carl Eckern, and George Andrews. There they are. And the secondary is Green, Cromwell, Johnson, and Irvin. So it is now 2nd and 10. So both Kemp and Fuller have thrown the ball deep here, as Johnny Morris indicated, to send a message. Picks his way for about 2 to the 35-yard line of Los Angeles. It'll be 3rd and 8 to go. Eckern and Owens, 55 and 58, made the tackle.
Good play by Carl Eckern. He avoided the block by Keith Van Corn, held his ground, and made the tackle as he comes off the field. Earned a little rest on that play.
DeJournay comes in to make a 4-man front, and Vince Newsom is the nickelback, number 22. Charles DeJournay, number 70. Lineup, defensive front. Fuller is scrambling and appears to have the first down to the Rams' 26-yard line. We'd like to welcome those. Welcome to those watching the Green Bay, Minnesota game this afternoon, where the Green Bay Packers won their 4th game of the season with a rout of the Vikings. We have a scoreless football game here after Steve Fuller's 8-yard run has given the Chicago Bears a first down at the Los Angeles 27-yard line. This is the first offensive series for the Chicago Bears, with 9:12 remaining in this first quarter. Mike Ditka, who crossed the 500 mark in his career coaching record with the Bears last week. Raiders. Payton runs into traffic and dives for about a yard. Meissner, the nose man, had done the classic nose tackles job. He just got squirming in there and piled up all of the blockers in front of him, and Payton had nowhere to go. Eckern and Collins were the tacklers.
There you can see some comparisons, offense and defense. The Bears are number 1 in rushing. But rushing defense, the Rams are 3rd. Passing, neither one are what you call great, 26th and 23rd, 7th and 14th overall.
So it is 2nd and 9 for the Chicago Bears. 26-yard line. Ashenagel in motion. Draw play to Payton. He's got a big hole. Walter Payton bursts inside the 20 to the 17-yard line, where Jim Collins, the Rams' leading tackler, makes his 2nd consecutive defensive play. Johnny Johnson, the safety, coming up to help.
Okay, the key block was by Jay Hilgenberg here. As you see, Collins right over the middle. Eckern, 55, gets blocked out of the way. Then Collins plays off the block by Mark Bortz and makes the tackle, but not before the Bears get down to a 3rd and short situation.
George Andrews, the right side linebacker, who did not practice all week because of a knee injury suffered last week, number 52 of the Rams, has already left the game. And Suhey dives for about 4 yards and a first down for the Bears, deep in Rams territory at the 12-yard line. Again, Collins, and help from Newsom on the stop. Collins came into this game, Johnny, with 129 tackles, 93 of them solo. Now, just to put that in perspective, the Bears' leading tackler is their outstanding middle linebacker, Mike Singletary, who had 66 tackles coming into the game, 47 of them solo. So Collins is having an outstanding year.
You notice Nolan Cromwell over there on the sidelines. He must have gotten hurt there in the last couple of plays.
So Cromwell and Andrews, 2 starters, now out of the Rams defense. First down, Chicago. Fuller stumbles, but gets the ball off to Suhey. Suhey picks his way through tacklers to the 7-yard line. A gain of maybe 6 yards on the play. Eckern and Owens, 55 and 58, made the tackle.
Fuller slipped on his way back, but was still able to get up and avoid the rush and get the ball off before Meissner could get there. He looked for Suhey coming out of the backfield. Suhey makes the grab, and then a nice little move to get a few extra yards. And Steve Fuller is really throwing the football. There had been some question about his throwing arm. He had a separated shoulder earlier in the season. They said he couldn't throw long and he was having trouble throwing. But so far, we have not seen any sign of it.
Well, Bears fans know that the Bears need Steve Fuller to do well with McMahon now on injured reserve. The give is to Payton, rolling to the right. He lost the ball, but it's caught back by Matt Suhey, I believe. Picked it out of midair. It just popped out of Payton's hands. That's a rare thing to see. It went off a Ram player, and I believe that was Mel Owens, number 58, and right into the hands of the alert Matt Suhey. Not one of your great design offensive plays here.
No, and it was Mel Owens who thought he might have a touchdown. Watch the ball squirt up. Payton, you know, carries it rather loosely. Didn't usually tucks it away. And there's Mel Owens, 58. He said, I've got it. And then all of a sudden he's jolted. The ball comes to Matt Suhey, 26, who headed for the turf. And the Bears got a break there.
Boy, oh boy, did they ever. It is 3rd down. And they need 6 for the first down, which would take them just inside the 3-yard line. Big defensive play here for the Rams. Fuller has time. Finds a man, a flag down, touchdown to Galt, but let's see about the flag. Willie Galt wide open, and the penalty is apparently against Chicago. Holding. The signal from Fred Wyatt, the referee, number 11. So the tight touchdown play to Willie Gull is wiped off. Fuller had done a nice job of scrambling.
Number 78, third down.
Keith Van Horn is called for the penalty. You know, when a quarterback starts running around and scrambling, the odds for getting a holding call sometimes go up, and that's what happened to the Bears that time as the former USC Trojan. He's 78 at the top of your screen there, right in the middle of your screen, 78 blocking. As you see Fuller go back, and he's grabbing on there to Youngblood, and it gets him right there around the chin, it looks like, and that's where the holding call was awarded.
DeJournay has come in to make a four-man front. Ivory Sully is in. Newsom having replaced Cromwell. Cromwell apparently with a sore knee suffered in this first offensive series of the Bears. They hope to get him back. Fuller scrambling again. He'll take off. He's got some running room. Gets to the 1-yard line where he's pulled down by Jim Collins. It'll be a first down, however. First and goal for the Bears. Well, Fuller had to have mixed emotions as he took off, Johnny. He wanted to get to the end zone, but he was also, I'm sure, thinking, boy, I better not get hurt.
Well, he pulled out. He saw the wide open spaces and didn't waste any time. Took off down the field. Now, mind you, he has two bad knees, a bad shoulder, and he gets a hit right there. Would have been stopped, but he falls forward. Collins is in on the tackle and gets enough for the first down. So that's a key play for the Chicago Bears because the Rams had him in trouble on third down.
Mike Ditka must have been holding his
breath, yes.
As he saw Fuller take off downfield. That's how McMahon got hurt last week. His first and goal. 3-yard pickup. Suhey is crashed down at the line of scrimmage. A flag is on the play. And Suhey was really straightened up by Eckern and DeJournay. Made him pay the price of trying to get into the one.
The Rams apparently were offsides.
It'll be second and goal, and they'll pick up a half-yard on the half the distance penalty.
Offside, defense.
There's Jim Collins, a man with 129 tackles. He has a couple more added on to that as Eckern makes the first hit along with Collins, but to no avail for the Rams because they were offside. So the Bears are just inches from the goal line.
Calvin Thomas, number 33, has come in to replace Suhey. Thomas had a good day last week against the Raiders. Mike Ditka told us yesterday he would give Thomas some more time. And now Steve Fuller has to take time out here. And again, when you're changing quarterbacks and a man hasn't had game action, some things may not be perfectly clear. He's going over to try and get them clear with head coach Mike Ditka, who gives us one of his famous grimaces. We are back at Anaheim Stadium, 4:08 remaining, first quarter. No score with the Bears literally on the goal line, one half-yard away from Payton, and they have a first and goal. The offside penalty against the Rams on the previous first and goal from the one, advancing in the half-yard. The I formation, Thomas the lead back. Payton in motion. Driving is Fuller, and he is in. Touchdown. Well, he had a huddle with Coach Mike Ditka on the sidelines, and they came up with a real tricky play. Quarterback sneak.
They've been going more to the quarterback sneak on the very short yardage than they used to. They used to fly it to Payton over the top, but you can see Payton in motion. So then that made that the possibilities of a quarterback sneak were much higher. As Fuller goes in and has played very well for the Chicago Bears in his first start, as you mentioned, in over 2 years.
Steve Fuller, when we asked him last night about the significance of this game, he said, well, yes, there is some. It's personal. He said, I don't think the team thinks it's such a big deal for me to be starting against the Rams. Thomas has the point after. But he said, yes, it does mean something to me. They let me go, kept Jeff Kemp, and I want to go in there and win tomorrow. Well, he has the lead. We got a long way to go.
To the fortunes of professional football. Had Mel Owens been able to hang on to the ball here, this drive would have never culminated in a touchdown as Payton fumbled the ball. Number 58 thought he had it, but no, Matt Suhey wound up with the ball. And then, of course, the other two key plays on that were scrambles by Steve Fuller, 2 carries for 26 yards, and therein was the touchdown.
13 plays, 63 yards, 8:51 used up on the clock. We'll come back to the significance of that in a moment. Obviously, I'm sure. The kickoff is taken by Drew Hill. He bobbled it a little bit, and that awesome as he is stopped at the 7-yard line. Dave Dickerson, number 22, put the tackle on him. So the Bears so far have prevented the Rams from making anything happen on the 2 kickoffs. Dan Raines there along with Dickerson. Dickerson is the leading tackler on the Bears special teams. Just a 7-yard return. Now, using up that amount of time, the Bears have done that all season long. In every game, they've had the ball more than the other team. Well, we want to welcome those who have been watching the Washington-Detroit game. The Redskins 28, the Lions 14. That is good news for Chicago Bears fans, and the Washington Redskins have taken over the lead temporarily in the NFC East at 7-4. The Rams' second possession. Dickerson gets about 6, plowing straight ahead out the right side behind Dennis Hara and Bill Bain. Hartenstein, 73. Al Harris, number 90. Combining on the tackle, you're looking at the league's leading rusher, Eric Dickerson.
You know, this game is an interesting game as far as matchups concerned. You have Dickerson against Walter Payton, and you have Jeff Kemp against Steve Fuller. You have 2 Olympic sprinters, Willie Gauld against Ron Brown. All kinds of interesting matchups in this football game.
Gain of close to 6 for Dickerson, second in a long 4. From the 12-yard line of the Los Angeles Rams, they trail 7-0. Dickerson, this time no room. Stopped just over the line of scrimmage, met by Singletary, 50, and Otis Wilson, number 55. And the gain will be maybe 2 with the hard driving charge of Dickerson. It'll bring up 3rd and 3. Well, you can see with that victory by the Redskins, they've moved to 7-4 atop the NFC East. The Rams are currently tied with Dallas, St. Louis, and the Giants all at 6-4. Dallas plays St. Louis this afternoon. The Giants are playing at Tampa Bay. And, of course, there are 3 playoff spots involved in that grouping. The champion of the NFC East and 2 wild card spots. Russ Bollinger is coming to the game for the Rams as Dickerson tries the right side. And looks like he has the first down for the Rams. Otis Wilson and Steve McMichael on the tackle. So the Rams brought in an extra offensive lineman on the short yardage situation.
It's going to be very close. I'm not so sure he got it. Yeah, it's close, very close.
Ed Wyatt, the referee, will be the arbiter here as he takes a look at the measurement. 7-0 Bears, scoring on their first offensive possession. And it is just short. It is just short indeed, Johnny. And so the Rams, back deep at their own 17-yard line, will have to punt. As John Robinson not happy with that development.
Well, he was talking to us yesterday. He says they may stop Eric Dickerson a couple of times for no yardage, a time or 2 for 2 or 3, and all of a sudden he'll bust 160 yards. He says you have to be patient against the Chicago Bear defense because you can break him. And as you recall, Dickerson gained 127 yards against the Bears last year.
That was quite a football game here. 21-14, the Rams won it. Payton and Dickerson both had outstanding days. There's Jeff Fisher awaiting the punt. He is standing at the Chicago 40-yard line, and they had to put some time back on the clock. That's this momentary delay. They showed 2:04 remaining in the first period. Misko will be the punter. And the Bears have been a consistent team scoring in the first quarter this year, Johnny.
They've outscored their opponents and usually get ahead 7-0, 14-0, and that plays right into the hands of the Bear defense because the Bear defense is much more effective when you're up. Of course, every defense is, but the way the Bears play their defense. And at this time, you have Jeff Fisher on the 40-yard line, so it looks like the Bears are going to get good field position. So the Rams defense is going to be tested. They have a good defense. They play it strong. When you have people like Youngblood, you know what he did last week.
Boy, what a game he had against St. Louis. There's the Bears offensively in the first half. They've had the advantage, and as Johnny points out, with their #1 defense, that's quite an advantage. Youngblood last week with 3 sacks against the Cardinals, 9.5 on the season, blocked a field goal that would have tied up the game on the final play. Finally, we get a punt. Misko on out the side of his foot. Comes down at the 45, fielded by Fisher, who gets 1 block. and trying to get to the midfield stripe to stop at the 49-yard line, where he's stopped by Mike McDonald, number 63. And so good field position for Chicago on their second offensive possession.
Well, there were some shenanigans going around, and the Rams decided to go into a tight punt formation because they were afraid that the Bears might have the punt block on. And let's take a look if there was anything else wrong aside from just going off the side of his foot. There wasn't that big of a rush on him. The Bears have good field position at the 49-yard line.
Nisco brought a 39.8 average into the game and had already launched a 47-yarder. That one hurts. Mike Ditka on the right of your screen, John Robinson on the left of your screen, two relatively new coaches in the National Football League. Ditka in his third year, Robinson in his second. The history between the teams a lot longer than between the coaches. The Bears have won 32 and lost 20 and tied 3. They are the leader in the series between Chicago and the Los Angeles Rams. They have first down at their own 49-yard line. Full of the quarterback. Again, gets good protection, now scrambles up and dives over the 50 for a gain of about 3. He had time, but the Rams had good coverage downfield. And that is despite the fact that Cromwell is out with the knee injury suffered on the first Bears series, being replaced by Vince Newsom, number 22, and the starting linebacker George Andrews, who came into the game with a bad knee suffered last week against St. Louis, didn't practice all week, just unable to continue here. He's been replaced by Mike Wilcher.
The surprise in this game so far is that the Bears are throwing on first down quite a bit. At least 4 of their series, they've begun with a pass. There's, you see Nolan Cromwell. He's out for the first half.
Second down and 8. They give it to Payton up the middle, and Payton bursts through tacklers and has a first down at the 35-yard line. Payton had a very good hole to start with and then created one for himself for an extra 5.
Well, they say he hasn't got that great acceleration that he used to have. Look at the block by Kurt Becker, 79. Jim Collins gets a shoulder into him, but Payton just goes on and gets a few more yards. He always gets 2 or 3 more extra yards every time he runs up the middle. The punishment that he takes, and he's only 5'10", 202 pounds, and he's going for 13,000 yards. Gary Green and Vince Newsom, 27 and 22, made the tackle. Newsom in Cromwell's spot. First down, Chicago. Suhey pitches back to Fuller. Fuller up the middle for McKinnon, nearly picked off by Carl Eckern, number 55. So a little razzle-dazzle from the Bears. The old flea flicker as he handed off to Suhey and dipped it back to Fuller. The Rams really didn't bite on this one. They didn't bite on it. Fuller still tried for the pass, but you could see he was well covered, and the Rams could have had an interception there. Carl Eckern with another fine play. Very alert defensive work by Eckern and the rest of the Ram defenders. In fact, on the replay, it looked like Suhey had himself a big hole had he kept running. That might have been the better decision. Do you think he'd have been in trouble if he'd have kept running when he got to the sidelines?
Can you imagine, though, he's looking at that big hole and saying, why am I throwing it back to the quarterback? 2nd and 10. In his motion. Play action. Fuller's got a man wide open, Dunsmore. Pat Dunsmore, the tight end. And Fuller right on the money to the 11-yard line of the Rams. Vince Newsom steered him out of bounds. And he got the pass off before Mel Owens came in. And you're going to see Dunsmore, 88, come across your screen there. He gets in between the linebackers and the deep backs as the wide receiver cleared the zone. And Dunsmore takes it. The Bears are down, threatening once again. 25-yard gain on the play as the first quarter comes to a close. They'll be back at Anaheim Stadium with the Bears threatening again and leading 7-0. Back at Anaheim Stadium in that first period, the Bears had the football for 10 minutes and 31 seconds. The Rams for 4:29. The Bears have averaged 35 minutes a game of possession, and that means, conversely, that Dickerson has gotten to carry the ball only 5 times in the first quarter for the Rams. And they want him certainly to carry at least 20 times a game, and that would only get him to 20 on an average basis. First and nearly goal for Chicago. Payton struggles for about 4, winds up standing up with a whole bunch of blue shirts, making sure he got no farther. Let's take you to New York for an NFL Today report.
All right, Tim, you gave the score, and here's the play that set it up for the Dallas Cowboys. They block a field goal attempt by Neil O'Donohue. Downs comes through. The wingman was blocking outside, and that opened up the alley. Now it's Fellows with the ball, coming down inside the 20, gets jarred loose, but the Cowboys recover, and Ron Springs scores from there, 7-0. Let's go back to Tim.
A key game between 2 6 and 4 teams. We'll keep you updated. Brent Musburger throughout the course of our telecast. Gain of 3 for Payton. Payton again, and Collins shuts him down, and it'll be very little gain on that play on a 2nd and 7, as Collins closed very quickly, and again, good work by the front 3, Youngblood and Meissner particularly diving in to force Payton inside.
Okay, take a look at Jim Collins. He's number 50. He comes into the gap and then gets Payton up in midair and brings him down. Good play by the Los Angeles Rams, and now we have a key 3rd down situation. The Rams gained only 11 yards in the first quarter. The Bears had 113. Big play right here.
3rd and about 6.
3rd and 6. The first down marker is about 6 inches from the goal line. Fuller will try to get it into the end zone. He's got a man. It's caught, and it's McKinnon. McKinnon is stopped short of the first down and at about the 2-yard line. Fuller, the connection to McKinnon, but immediate coverage by the Rams and the tackle by Vince Newsom, who made a big defensive play, and the field goal unit comes on the field for Chicago.
Fuller had a mind to maybe scramble up the middle, but then he saw McKinnon come right across the screen here as he comes across and throws the pass on the run there. And there's Vince Newsom in on the tackle to prevent the first down and the touchdown. So the Bears apparently are going to settle for the field goal.
Bob Thomas from the 10-yard line. And he has a 20-yard field goal, and the Chicago Bears have a 10-0 lead. And so just underway here in the second quarter at Anaheim Stadium. We have 12:39 remaining to play. The Bears 10, the Rams nothing. Next Saturday, a doubleheader of college football with Big Ten action. The Michigan Wolverines against Ohio State. With yesterday's developments, the Buckeyes, should they win that game against their arch rival Michigan team, will be in the Rose Bowl. And they will face there, should they win, the USC Trojans, who clinched a spot on the Rose Bowl with their victory over Washington yesterday. And that's the great crosstown rivalry between the Trojans and the UCLA Bruins. Doubleheader action next week. Kickoff is taken at the 13-yard line by Barry Redden, and Redden gets out to about the 30 before he's swarmed under by several Chicago Bears. And now for an NFL Today report, let's go back to Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim and Johnny, it is over. And what a plane trip back to Houston for the Oilers. 23 straight losses on the road, but no more. It's a 1-game winning streak. The Oilers over the Kansas City Chiefs, 17-16. Back to Tim and Johnny.
Well, would it be, would one sound prejudiced if one said one was happy they won a football game?
Nobody should go winless the
Boy,
entire
oh boy.
season.
Well, I feel sorry for Kansas City, I guess, but I'm real happy for the Houston Oilers. Warren Moon and rookie coach Hugh Campbell. First down for the Rams from the 30-yard line. Dickerson with a flag down, has a big hole out the left side and gets out to the 38-yard line, where he was hit by Sean Gale and Gary Fenson.
I think they're going to call Henry Ellard for maybe moving forward too soon in his motions, but I'm not sure.
Illegal motion is correct. We didn't get the culprit yet.
Well, I think it was Henry Ellard. He was going in motion, then kind of moved forward right before as the ball was being snapped, and
Illegal
that's a
motion,
no-no.
offense. First down.
Well, offense. But the offense isn't wearing a number, I don't think.
Well, maybe they've changed the policy. They're not going to tell the number. They don't want to embarrass anybody out there.
The Bears went 49 yards in 8 plays for their 20-yard field goal by Thomas, as the Rams stopped him down there and forced him to go for the field goal. We see New Orleans has defeated Atlanta 17-13 today. For the Saints, their 5th win. Washington over Detroit. Green Bay had quite a day against Minnesota. First and 15 for the Rams from their 25. Kemp quickly out to Brown. Brown picks up about 7 yards on the play. as he was stopped by Fensick and Gale, 45 and 23. Now make it an 11-yard gain, pardon me. They were first and 15. We see that Miami just edged the Eagles. Weren't the Eagles leading in that game, Johnny?
14-0 at one time. Almost pulled off an upset. Miami still undefeated then, right?
Yes, indeed they are. 11 and 0.
Look at this one. San Francisco 41-7 over Cleveland.
And the Niners moved to 10 and 1. New England keeps Bills winless. 38-10. A 2nd and 4 for the Rams, trying to get something started. Play action. Kemp drills one to Ellard. There'll be a penalty against Mike Richardson, number 27. I mean, Kemp had that ball on a rope, and Richardson got a hand on the intended receiver, Henry Ellard, and so the Rams will have a first down, and they are finally in Bears territory.
Boy, there's no doubt that Kemp can fire that ball, and it was a good call because Richardson hit him a little bit before the ball got there. You can see the contact already is taking place. As far as the Bears are concerned, it might have been a blessing in disguise because Ellard was in full stride. He might have gone all the way.
First down for the Los Angeles Rams, and we have 11:37 remaining in the first half. Bears territory at the 46. Dickerson close to another first down. Gale and Fensick again on the tackle. Sean Gale playing for the injured Leslie Frazier.
And watch the blocking by the interior, the right side of the line. Bill Bain, 62, comes from his tackle spot, and he puts a shot on Todd Bell, 25, as Dickerson turns up the field. There's the block there by Bain, who, 300 pounds, he got it around there in a hurry, didn't he?
He sure does, and he did on that play, and we were kidding him about that. He's not exactly the body beautiful. He carries about 290. He says, hey, I can still pull, and I'll show you. And he did. Second, less than a yard. Kemp on 2nd and short. I like that call, but Ron Brown, the intended receiver, looked like he was coming back for the ball. So a little miscue between quarterback and receiver on that play.
I think what happened that time, there was an audible because they saw the Bears jump into their 46 defense where they put 2 linebackers over the tight end and moved Todd Bell over on the other side. And Kemp saw it and wisely called it audible, but somebody missed it and there was a misconnection. That's what the Bears count on, some confusion when they go into their different defenses.
John Robinson sends in 2 extra blockers here as we see that Indianapolis has upset the Jets 9-5. Score. 3rd and short. Dickerson, plenty of yardage for the first down, out of bounds, inside the 25. So the Rams are now threatening at the 24-yard line of Chicago.
There was a key block out here on Mike Hartenstein. See David Hill, 81, blocking 73. He takes Hartenstein to the outside, and Dickerson turned inside and got up the field and finally goes out of bounds. Good blocking by the Rams. And, of course, good running by Dickerson, which he always does, right?
Dickerson, what a day he had last week against the Cardinals. A career-high 208 yards to move ahead of Walter Payton in the NFL Western Derby. Had the ball only 5 times in the first quarter today. The Bears had the football most of the quarter. Kemp on first down. Quick pass is again off the mark, intended once more for Ron Brown, the rookie sprinter. So it'll be 2nd and 10. And now for another NFL report, let's go to Brent Musburger again.
All right, Tim, for the St. Louis Cardinals, it is 2nd and 7. Lomax from the shotgun. He's got Tilley down at the 6. He gets back up and gets into the end zone, and the Cardinals have tied the Cowboys at 7. Back to Tim and Johnny.
Well, the shootout there, Dallas and the Cardinals now tied at 7. And, of course, John Robinson, if he could, have an eye up on a scoreboard showing all of the scores involving those teams in the NFC East at 6 and 4, he would be doing it. He'd like those Cardinals to finish ahead of Dallas. Dickerson. Dickerson, look at Dickerson turn it on into the 15-yard line. He was hit at the 21. With a spin, he carried 2 Bears with him and picked up another 5. Singletary and Fensick were the passengers on the back of Eric Dickerson.
David Hill, give him some credit again. Watch David Hill. He's 81. He blocks Al Harris out, and Dickerson had his eyes open there, turned up the field, and spins out of it, keeps his legs going, and that's why he's a great running back, a la Walter Payton.
3rd and 2. 8 carries for 42 yards now for Dickerson. And Payton has carried 7 times for 24. So Dickerson widening his lead atop the NFL. Here he is again. Tripped up from behind this time. And then Keyes able to get a piece of him. Dent slashing over, got a hand on his foot. Keyes and Al Harris were the 2 Bear defenders who made sure he did not get any farther. And they'll have to measure again here, as he is very close to the first down. So the Rams, with their best drive so far in this first half, if they have a first down here, they will be in good scoring position from the 13.
Boy, is that close?
Well,
it's a little short, and John Robinson.
What's he going to do?
Well, I'm not so sure I would try any kind of a pitch and go off tackle or anything. I don't care if everybody knows that you are going to run it right up the middle or whatever, quarterback sneak it or what. There's Buddy Ryan, the Bears defensive coordinator, who is the man in charge of this #1 defense in the National Football League. He's done a super job, and here's a key play for the Rams.
What do you tell your guys to do here on 4th and inches defensively? Jam it up, pals. Well, the Rams have not been successful in this department, trying it 6 times on 4th down. And that time they got it, but a flag is down. Kemp sneaking. They had Mike Barber and Russ Bollinger in to help out on the blocking on that 4th and inches.
55. Offside.
Otis Wilson, they called for being in the neutral zone, lined up offsides.
So they got the first down and then some.
I'd have to say they'll take the penalty, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think Kemp just got about a yard on his dive. So they'll march it inside the 10 and place it down at the 8-yard line. And now the Rams are in scoring position with a first down and goal at the 8-yard line of Chicago. Rams at 6-4, trailing San Francisco by 3 games in the NFC West. But as we have already told you, very much in the wild card picture with those teams in the NFC East. And they are a pretty good rushing team. Like the Bears, they've rushed for more than they've passed. Kemp will throw on first down for Ellard, and good coverage on him by Richardson. And Kemp threw it out of bounds. Well, Jeff Kemp has been certainly an interesting story with Vince Ferragamo going out after game 3 of the season with a broken right hand. Kemp coming in, there were a lot of doubters about his ability to take over from Ferragamo, and he's passing at a 51.9 percentage so far. There's Ferragamo dressed for the first time since he was hurt, but not expected to see action today except in dire emergency.
So basically both teams are going with 2 quarterbacks.
Dills is the backup to Kemp today, picked up from Minnesota Vikings. The pitch to Dickerson on the short side, tips his way inside the 5 and gets to the 2-yard line. Otis Wilson made the tackle there, and Singletary, as usual, getting a piece of the action.
What a beautiful cutback by Dickerson, because the Bears thought they had him. You'll see Steve McMichael gets over there, number 76, and he thought he had him, but see the Rams push everybody out, kick him out, and there's 76 McMichael going by, missing the tackle, and Dickerson just a super back. He knows when to cut up and look at the creases, and now the Rams are in a situation where they have a 3rd and 2, and they've got 2 downs to go for it.
Bears send in Jim Osborne, Wilbur Marshall as some extra heavy defenders, taking out Gale and Richardson. And it is 3rd down and goal. Ball is at the 2-yard line. Good shot to Dickerson. Dickerson is hit and dropped for a loss. Back to the 5-yard line. Singletary is there, and initial contact by Wilson. Otis Wilson, number 55, who is having an all-pro year. He's just been superb in his 5th year out of Louisville. A little slow to come along as a first-round draft choice in 1980. But Buddy Ryan very, very pleased with the way he's playing now.
And he's the one that'll tell you he should be all-pro, too. Otis plays good football.
4th down. And That'll bring in Mike Lansford, who had 3 field goals, including the winning margin last week in the upset of the St. Louis Cardinals. 21-yard barefooted kick is good. And so the Rams are on the scoreboard with 7:27 remaining first half. Chicago 10 and the Rams 3. They used up 5:12 on the clock, going 66 yards in 11 plays following Bob Thomas's field goal for the Bears, and got one of their own. Lansford, who will kick it off, scoring from 21 yards out. Jack Cameron is the deep man, along with Donald Jordan, and the rookie takes it 1 yard deep, number 49. Jordan allows his way out just over the 20 to the 21-yard line of Chicago. So the Bears will come out offensively again for their 3rd time with Steve Fuller at quarterback when we return, and Chicago in front 10-3. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, some Rams fans happy with 3 points up and a chance to close in on the Bears, and a man who wears his feelings on his t-shirt there. I don't bet you find too many Cowboys fans in the stadium today. First down pass play again by the Bears, and it is the tight end Moorhead, number 87, on a quick drop from Fuller, and gain of about 7, maybe 8 yards. Eckern and Collins, the inside linebackers in the Rams 3-4, made the stop.
Once again, throwing on first down as he just kind of lazily goes out there, finds the gap as the linebackers are ready to go back in their drop-off, and the Bears get a nice gain before Eckern gets in on the tackle, and a whole bunch of other Rams. Emery Moorhead.
Rams still without 2 starters in their secondary. George Andrews hurt last week, tried to go today, didn't last the first series. Nolan Cromwell hit on the knee, might be back for the second half. Payton dives over the 30 to the 33-yard line and has a Bear first down. Well, when you have Walter Payton, you like a lot of 2nd and 3s, I would say. You've got a chance to keep the ball. Reggie Doss made the tackle with Jim Collins again in on the mix. Well, college basketball comes back to CBS Sports in 2 weeks' time, November 24th. The Louisville Cardinals and the Indiana Hoosiers. Hard to believe, first time that Denny Crum has ever met Bobby Knight. Indiana's coach Bobby Knight, the Olympic coach, and against Louisville, that should be quite an outstanding way to start our college basketball season. 1 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS Sports, home of the NCAA basketball championship. First and 10 Bears. Fuller going deep. And a collision between McKinnon and Gary Green. It'll be incomplete. The ball was overthrown for sure, but McKinnon collided with Gary Green, acquired from Kansas City in the offseason by the Rams to take over the left corner spot. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
Once again, the Bears throw on first down, trying to keep the Rams loose. As you look at this play again, maybe you can see the collision as it happened right on the very end there. Look at the left side of your screen. There's the collision which knocked him off stride. No chance for a reception. So the Bears are into a 2nd and 10 situation. The Rams have not red dogged very much.
Fuller is 6 of 9 at 69 yards in his first start as a Chicago Bear. Suhey in motion behind the ball. Drop play to Payton. Payton shakes a tackle. Rams had actually read that pretty well. Doss and DeJournay both had a chance to get him, but he broke the tackles and wound up with about a 6-yard gain.
Well, you're exactly right. Doss and DeJournay were there as the Rams smelled the play out. Just a little draw play, and they really collide with Payton right here. It looks like he stopped, but so, as happens so often, he squirts away and gets a couple, 3 extra yards. You've got to gang tackle Walter Payton, or he's going to get those 2 or 3 extras. 3rd and 5.5.
Pickup of 5, 9 carries for Payton, 33 yards so far today. Moorhead, the tight end, in motion off the wing. Out of the shotgun, Fuller. Fuller forced out of the pocket, gets the ball off, incomplete. Intended for Matt Suhey, number 26. He was close to the line of scrimmage when he released the football, but I do not see any yellow out there. You know, it's getting so you expect to see a flag on every play these days, which is sad commentary, but so far today it hasn't really been all that bad, we're happy to report.
The Bears have had 88 penalties, one of the most penalized teams in the National Football League. The Rams, on the other hand, haven't had that many, 54. That's a pretty good record, and that's a sign of some pretty good coaching, too.
Henry Ellard back awaiting the punt from Dave Finzer. This is Finzer's first punt today for the Bears, standing at his 22. Dangerous Henry Ellard is the top returner in the entire NFL. Standing at the Rams 20. Good kick by Finzer, and he forces Ellard towards the sideline, and he's dropped immediately. And it's Dave Dickerson, the former Notre Dame star, number 22, dropping him at the 15-yard line. Perfect play by Finzer and Dickerson. Ellard had no chance at all. We'll be right back. Well, Finzer and Dave Dickerson will probably buy each other a beer after this play.
Dickerson avoided the jam there by Crudup, and there's Johnny Johnson. Both of them were there, and he gets down behind him, which shouldn't happen when you got two guys on one. Just a super play by Dickerson, who makes the tackle.
So the Rams start from their 14-yard line, a 48-yard punt, and no return by the dangerous Ellard. Kemp brings him out. Play action. Going deep. He's got a man open, Ron Brown, who makes the catch at the 30-yard line. Sean Gale made the tackle on him, but Ron Brown, the Olympic sprinter, has a Ram first down at the 32-yard line, and Kemp can get it downfield.
Ron Brown, another rookie against Sean Gale, who's substituting for Leslie Frazier. That was the play-action pass. He just turns on, and with that Olympic speed, there's no way that Sean Gale can keep up with him. He makes a super catch, almost broke it, but Gale did save himself by making the tackle, and that's the time that you go after the Chicago Bears on the long passes on first down. And I believe that was not an audible. That was a planned play. They figured they would get man-for-man coverage on first down, and they got it.
54-yard play, a perfect strike from Jeff Kemp to Ron Brown. Ron Robinson just absolutely eager to see the future of Ron Brown. He thinks he's going to be a great one. Dickerson over the 30-yard line, got a couple before he was grabbed by Todd Bell, the safety number 25, playing up tight. Well, next Sunday, the NFL Today will start off our football programming, and then you'll see the Los Angeles Rams at Green Bay. Those of you looking in the LA area today, and those of you in the Chicago area, will see the Bears at home against Detroit. Those are the early games, and then some of you will be seeing Minnesota at Denver or Tampa Bay at San Francisco, and those games start a little later, 3:30 and 2:30 Central Time. Second down and 8. Draw play. Dickerson tackled from behind by Fensick after a gain of maybe 3 on the play. It'll bring up third down and about 5 for the Rams. The 2 running plays shut down by the Bears and putting the Rams into a key third down situation being pondered by John Robinson. You notice he doesn't wear a headset, eh, Johnny? He told us the other day he likes to have the overview on the field, and he leaves the play calling to his offensive people and wants to, of course, be involved in knowing what's going on, but prefers to not be the direct communicator. Kemp intended for Ellard just off the mark. Ellard was open, and so was Mike Guman, number 44. They had 2 receivers on 1 Bear defender, Mike Richardson, but Kemp couldn't get the ball to him.
That's right, because the Bears went with the blitz, and you can see the isolated replay here as Ellard goes down here and just turns in, and the ball was back a little bit behind him. Now there's the sun situation there. I'm not sure if he might have had, it was a low pass, so probably not the sun, but he should have had the ball. It's going to make a difference because now the Rams have to go for a field goal.
They had a great opportunity there with 2 open receivers. Here is Lansford trying it from the 35-yard line, a 45-yard try. This is not his distance, at least hasn't been this season. But that one, it looks like he's got nailed perfectly. Mike Lansford, a 45-yard field goal, the longest of the year for him. And so the Rams pick up 3 more, and the game is tightened to a 4-point margin. 2:14 to play in the first half. 10-6 with 2:14 remaining. There's Ron Brown, who made that big play with Kemp, 54-yard pass play that set up the field goal by Lansford, his second of the afternoon from 45 yards out. 57 yards in 5 plays.
one dimension he has added is speed of the wide receiver spot for the Rams, and that's going to help them in the long run, especially as he gets more and more experience.
Lansford's kickoff is short. Will be taken by Jordan to fumble the ball, and Jordan diving back, and it looks like he's pulled it in. But Donald Jordan, the Bears rookie, nearly coughed up the ball at the 10-yard line. He's from Houston and is new in this roll down here as a kickoff returner, along with another rookie, Cameron. Usually Gentry or Anthony Hutchison are back there deep. Jordan getting his opportunity, and it nearly was a disaster for the youngster. It's being placed down at the 9-yard line.
I think it was A.J. Jones who almost got that ball as Jordan fumbled it, seemed to lose it momentarily, and they both take a dive for it. Right here, you're going to see two bodies hit there at the same time. No, that wasn't Jones.
Proudiff, number 28.
That was Proudiff, yes.
Yep.
The little guy, 5'7", almost got himself the fumble recovery as Jordan goes to the sidelines. The Bears have bad field position.
Well, and you've got a very tough defensive team here, the Rams, with a chance to stop the Bears deep in their own end. Rams trail by 4. Play action. Fuller, he's got a man open. Moorhead, what a hit, but he held on. Emery Moorhead with a first down to the 37-yard line. Vince Newsom in for the injured Nolan Cromwell, put a real good lick on him, but Moorhead held onto the ball.
Here we go again. First down, play action pass to Payton, and then he puts it right on the dime. Fuller is playing a heck of a game right between the Rams, and Moorhead hangs on. And that's what you call getting field position in a big, big hurry, huh?
30-yard gain, and suddenly they're out of trouble up at their own 38-yard line. Timeout on the field. We'll be right back with the Bears in front. We just completed the 2-minute warning break, and the Bears, with that pass to Moorhead by Fuller, is now 7 of 11 for 99 yards. Got them quickly out of a hole that Donald Jordan, the rookie kickoff returner, had put them in by dropping the ball and then covering it at the 9-yard line. One play, and they're up in good shape. The Rams defensively now with pressure on them again to stop the Bears here. They trail by 4 with the Rams out of the shotgun. Fuller on first down. Swings it off to Payton. Payton gets one block up the sideline to the 44-yard line. It'll be a gain of about 6 on the play, with Gary Green, the cornerback, number 27, forcing him out.
Good block by Kurt Becker as he comes out on the screen. You'll see Payton 34 just dips out. Here comes the screen. He blocks Mel Owens. Number 79 will block Mel Owens, 58, which allows Payton to get around the horn and get up there for his second pass reception of this football game.
Well, Payton needs one more to break one of the significant records in Bear history. We're going to tell you more about that because this is news, folks. It is 2nd and 3. Fuller complete, and it has a first down to Moorhead again, and Moorhead has been catching the ball in traffic. Collins and Eckern, those tough inside linebackers of the Rams, putting the hit on Moorhead as soon as he caught the ball, but again he holds on, and Chicago is into Los Angeles territory at the 49.
The Bears have 2 timeouts remaining.
1:22 on the clock. Out of the shotgun again on first down. Fuller takes a deep drop. Off to Payton. Payton had a lot of running room down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds by Leroy Irvin, but he's inside the 30-yard line, spotted at the 26-yard line. And the clock stopped with 1:09 remaining.
What a super play by Payton and by Fuller, who spots him. Eckern, 55, has him covered coming across the field, but Fuller was on the move, and there's no way that he could stay up with Payton. And Payton takes it down the sidelines, gives us his dipsy-do leg split right there, and then punishes the tackler, Irvin. He really gave him some punishment. Walter Payton.
How important for you to have described the play that just broke your club record, Johnny. Walter Payton now has 357 catches career. Johnny, sit down here so they can see the guy who just got victimized. Here he is.
Okay, well,
by Walter Payton.
I knew it would be broken someday, but I didn't think it would be a running back. You know, the way football has changed so much. But congratulations to Walter Payton.
Yet another record for Payton, and this time Fuller is dropped by Mel Owens, number 58. Blitzing got Fuller for a loss back to the 30-yard line. So a big defensive play by the Rams with 1:03 remaining in the first half. There's Mike Ditka having discussed things with Steve Fuller. 1:03 remaining in the first half. Bears up by 4. The first sack by the Rams, dropping Fuller back to the 30-yard line. And John Robinson happy with that development and hopeful that the Rams can stop the Bears from going in here in this final minute. And he would go to the locker room trailing by only 4. Steve Fuller so far has been a revelation for the Bears in this first half, playing for the injured Jim McMahon, man on injured reserve with lacerated kidney, and the rest of the regular season for sure. Well, the Rams were in the backfield before the ball came up, and will claim no doubt that they were drawn over by a Bear offensive lineman. Let's see if the officials agree.
Number 62, defense.
Mark Bortz must have moved a little bit.
Number
too soon.
62,
Offense.
62, offense.
Well, you heard Fred Wyand say 62 defense, but he meant offense, and that was Mark Bortz, the second-year man from Iowa. Something we learned about Mark Bortz is that he is the biggest eater on the offensive line. Steve Fuller, the quarterback, was out with his offensive line on Thursday night for the first time, and he said that Bortz was the champion among putting away the pasta.
He can put it away. I'm thinking about coming back, catch a few more passes.
Okay, Jim Brown. Here's Payton off tackle. What a defensive play. Tripped up by Reggie Doss, number 71. A flag down after the play is over. Downfield near the 32-yard line, where Payton finally came down to earth. We'll see what this is about, but credit Reggie Doss with a big defensive play, tripping up Payton.
And a penalty against Chicago.
Fred Wyand will consult with his other officials and sort this out, but the Bears are going backwards here, and the pressure from the Rams defense part of that, and a couple of penalties the other part. 53 seconds remaining in the half. Chicago scored on its first 2 offensive series. Fuller going in from a yard out on a quarterback
Illegal
sneak, and
block in
Thomas
the back,
for the
number
20-yard field goal.
85. Second down.
Well, McKinnon is charged with the block from behind, number 85, Dennis McKinnon. So that is a costly penalty, and the Bears are now backed out to the 45-yard line of Los Angeles.
Second down, 28 yards to go.
Well, that's your basic second and long. Second and 28. And the 7th penalty the Bears have picked up in just the first half. 58 yards against them.
The Rams are going with the 4 defensive linemen in this passing situation.
On the shotgun. Fuller steps up, forced out now. On the run, he's in difficulty. Made a nice move there, but cannot get it off as the Rams get him. And it is Dejournay, number 70, who finally was able to nail him after he had gotten away from Youngblood and Doss. So another sack for the Rams as they are coming up strong here in this final minute, keeping the Bears away from the Los Angeles end zone. Clock winding, 38 seconds and down. And it turns out it's a 1-yard gain by Fuller. So the sack will not be credited to the Rams because he got over that line of scrimmage on 2nd and 28.
Now, you note the clock did stop for 5 seconds. That's in the last 2 minutes when you sack the quarterback. Then they start the clock again. That's only in the last 2 minutes of the first half and at the end of the game.
Again on 3rd down. Pressure from Youngblood. Off to Payton. Payton gets over the 35. 3 seconds, and the clock is stopped as they take their final timeout. The Bears take the final timeout, and Bob Thomas will try to get the field goal from some considerable distance here. We'll be right back at Anaheim Stadium. The Bears by 4. We're back at Anaheim Stadium, where the Rams have done the job here on the Bears in this final minute, as they are looking at a 52-yard field goal try by Bob Thomas, whose longest this season has been 49. He has 2 of those. And so the Rams, with help from a couple of Bears penalties and some tough defensive play, have backed up the Chicago Bears to this circumstance here with 3 seconds remaining in the first half. Bashnagel will hold. 52-yard field goal for Bob Thomas, his longest of the year, as Lansford had connected on his longest from 45 earlier in the second period. So the Chicago Bears lengthen the lead to 7 as the half comes to a close here at Anaheim Stadium in a game that is so important, particularly to the Rams, but also to the Chicago Bears. And look at Bob Thomas.
He's always been a very emotional football player. He said, I got it, but it's still a close game. It's 13-6.
So that's how we stand here at halftime. The Bears in front by 7. Well, the shadows starting to creep across the turf here at Anaheim Stadium as John Robinson brings his Rams back out, and we are about to begin the second half as we see that the Bears with 11 first downs to only 4 by the Rams, and the Bears scoring on their first 2 possessions, a touchdown and a field goal. 209 total yards, and that time of possession, something they've been so consistent at, Johnny. They're just about on the mark again at 17:46. They averaged 35 minutes through the first 10 games of the year.
That's been the pattern. They have doubled the yardage at the Rams, but it's a little bit deceiving because in the second quarter it became a much closer football game, and the Rams got back in. They only had 11 yards after the first quarter and wound up with 116 for the half. And you can take a look at the low-scoring game that we anticipated. Chicago averages allowing only 14.9 yards. The Rams allow only 18.3 yards. So the game has gone according to Hoyle. Points, I should say. According to Hoyle, what we expected. The only surprising factor is that the Bears have thrown a little bit more than we anticipated.
Right. Well, Mike Ditka said we'll throw 30 times. I frankly didn't believe him because it would be contrary to what one would expect with a new quarterback, Steve Fuller, and also against what they normally do. They've averaged more like about 20 passes a game, and they've had 15 already.
What a super job Mike Ditka has done, because he's had some critical injuries to McMahon earlier in the season, and he's had to try and make this team win without his top quarterback, and he's done it. Now he has Fuller in, and so far Steve Fuller has done a good job. So Mike Ditka gets credit for some imagination to make up for deficiencies. He's got a lot of injuries, especially in the defense this week.
Well, we talked at the beginning of the game about the significance of this particular game to both of these teams. It's clearly more important to the Rams, but Mike Ditka underlined yesterday that, hey, if we win today, if we win next week, then the Chicago Bears have clinched the Central Division, and that's what he's hoping to do. Then they can relax a little bit more for the final games of the year as you see the standings in the Central Division after the action earlier today.
It may be a little late for the Packers, but they have won 3 in a row now, are up to 4-7. They play the Bears once more. But as you mentioned, this game is, if it's critical to both teams, but it's more critical to the Rams in that wild card situation and that log jam of teams that are 6-4, or 6-4 going into today's action. We talk about John Robinson. Here's a guy that's done a job. 1 year, he brought this team back into the playoffs. His first year, changed the system, went to the 1-back, got Dickerson, changed the defense, went to a 3-man front. I mean, he's a winner.
He certainly is.
A couple of winning coaches here.
It's a unanimous feeling on the part of his players that they think he has real confidence built. Donald Jordan getting another chance to return it, gets out to the 20-yard line for the Bears, who will have first possession here as we begin the second half. A 14-yard return for Jordan, and the Chicago Bears will have first down at their own 20-yard line. David Craddock made the tackle, and there is the little guy, 5'7". Robinson, I just couldn't cut this young man.
Yep. Watch that. He takes a couple of shots, too, and says, hey, I'm going to get in on the action, and he does trip up Jordan.
5'7", 183-pound free agent from San Diego State. And as Kemp went on, Craddock kept lasting, and finally when it came to the final cut down, they stayed with him. So he's been a big help on special teams. First down. Walter Payton off tackle, shakes a tackle all the way out to the 45, where he's steered out by Vince Newsom, who is still continuing for Nolan Cromwell, who injured a knee on the first defensive series by the Rams. First down, 26-yard gain by Payton.
And you can't give Payton the creases here as he busts 2 tackles, goes through with sheer force as he gets away from Ecker, and then Johnny Johnson has a shot at him. He just dips away, switches the ball, puts out the straight arm, finally knocked out of bounds. He plays with such principle on how you're supposed to do things, aside from just being a great natural athlete. Did you see the way he switched the ball? Did you see the way he remembered the straight arm? Did you see the way he dipped away from the tackler? Everything he does so well. The
catches the
immaculate football player, and he catches the ball too.
Here's Matt Suhey on the draw play, and Suhey gets out close to the 50-yard line. So the Bears moving into Rams territory just short of the midfield stripe. Wilcher and Youngblood. The Rams again without Andrews and Cromwell defensively in this second half. Andrews went out in the first series. The knee he injured last week against St. Louis, just unable to continue with that sore knee. And Cromwell suffered a knee injury. We thought he might be back in the second half, but so far it's Vince Newsom continuing. So Carl Ecker, number 55, the defensive boss on the field. The Rams will have to carry a little extra load out there. Defensive teammates, and here's a reverse to McKinnon. The Rams read that and drop him for a big loss back to the 40-yard line. Mike Wilcher, the second-year man from North Carolina, number 54, and Leroy Irvin, number 47. They saw that one and nailed it for a loss.
Okay, let's take a look at the mechanics of it. There's a handoff to Payton. You figure everybody'd go for Walter Payton. Here it is. They're waiting for it, and Wilcher gets most of the credit as he made McKinnon go wider and deeper, and then Irvin gets in on the tackle, and so is Jim Collins. You can't keep Collins away from me. A red ball carrier, can it?
He is something. But there's Mike Wilcher, and he came in for Andrews, as we had just mentioned moments ago. He's the backup to six-year veteran George Andrews. There's Andrews on the sideline. 43 tackles coming into the game and 6 sacks, so they lose a little in that department.
Let's see if the Rams blitz it.
Nope. 3rd and 15, a deep drop, so they are screening to Suhey. And again, the Rams defensively just shut that down beautifully. About a 4-yard gain. They stripped the blockers, and it was Jim Collins and Mel Owens. The linebackers, 50 and 58, stopping Suhey after a harmless 4-yard pickup, and the Bears will have to punt.
You know, I wonder what the record is for tackles in the season. I'm going to have to look that one up. He had 129 coming in.
Well, it's an unofficial statistic in the NFL, and we've been trying to determine whether he's the leader. I just have to think, well, he's anybody else with 129.
Yeah, there are a couple, and I'm going to tell you who they are.
All right. Finzer angling for the sideline with his punt, and it went out upfield some distance. Indeed, at the 26-yard line. So Finzer did not get that where he wanted it, and the Rams start with relatively good field position when we return, and the Bears lead by only 7. We're looking at George Andrews, and we are the recipient of bad news for the Rams and Andrews and his teammate Cromwell. The word is they will both undergo what is known as the scope tomorrow morning, arthroscopic surgery tomorrow morning because of their knee problems. So that is really a tough blow. Hard to say how many games they'll miss. That's not the real serious knee surgery, but serious enough. It'll mean 3 or 4 games, I would imagine, and perhaps longer. There's 2 starters on the Rams defense, and there is a flag down as Kemp on first down had some kind of a problem there signal-wise. Looked like
false start,
false
offense,
start is
first down.
against the Rams indeed.
Now let me get you that unofficial NFL leader in tackles is Steve Nelson of the Patriots with 131 going into this game, and Collins has had 129. So they do keep an unofficial
And the 2 guys ahead of him are in the AFC. I see Steve Busick of the Broncos is number 2 at 130, one ahead of Collins, and Collins came into this game with 129.
And he's fast becoming one of the linebackers that stays in on all situations, passing situations. You know, a lot of inside guys go out on the 3rd and long. Collins is now starting to stay in.
And he said he loves it. They all want to play every down if they can. 1st and 15. Kemp. He's got a man, and it is complete. Richardson made the grab on Ellard right at the 30-yard line, so the gain was about 9 yards. And it was one of those things where it could have gone either way. If Richardson caught it, he was in the end zone, and if Ellard had gotten away from Richardson, he could have scored.
And here's the key to that was that Kemp tried to throw an out pattern from the left hash mark all the way to the right side of the field, which means that the ball has to go a long way, and that allowed Richardson to almost come up with the interception. Now he's on the right hash mark.
10-yard pickup, and you saw he just got him by the sweater. 2nd down. 4 will call it for the Rams. Pitch out to Dickerson. He's got a good hole, and he's then hauled down. Short of the first down, Fensick and Hartenstein. Now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Tim, as a collegian, Zeke Moat was a blocking tight end at Florida State. But since coming to the Giants, he's matured as a pass receiver, and he's got the touchdown catch, 23 yards from Phil Simms. Giants over the Bucks, 10-3. Back to Tim and Johnny.
Buccaneers having their problem, but the New York Giants, a team to be dealt with in that NFC East this season. 6-4 in that pile of the Rams. Third and less than a yard for Los Angeles. And their 35 diving as Kemp, and he has the first down. So the Rams keep it moving upfield. 13-6, the Bears lead. Rams have the football. Had to ask Jeff Kemp at practice yesterday about what happens if your dad decides to run for president. He said, well, you know, yes, everybody asked me. He said, I would just imagine that the security is going to get to be a little bit complicated if his father comes out for that at 4 years down the line. All of a sudden, members of the family would all be involved in security, and that would include the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams. First down. Make the draw play, and Kemp going deep. He's got one-on-one coverage. Richardson is there, and now Bell comes in, but it's not by Ellard. Ellard, touchdown. What a play by Henry Ellard. Henry Ellard from Fresno State just stole the ball from Mike Richardson, and then when Todd Bell came over to help out, he ran away from both of them.
Just a super individual effort as Kemp came out off the play action and just threw it as far as he could throw it, and Ellard was there and then muscled his way with the ball and just looked into the end zone. Nobody there to tackle him. Great play.
Lansford can tie it up. That's the holder. Hit the upright, and it looked like there was a problem with the hold. Kemp was unable to get the ball down, and who knows how big a point that could be with the numbers 1 and 3 defenses against the rush playing a fine defensive game.
You see, Kemp had trouble getting the handle on the ball, and that kind of messed up the time, and he was already into his steps and his move, and the ball goes up, hits the upright, and comes back, and you were right, Tim, that could be a big play. It's 13-12, 1 point in a game like this. Could be a big difference.
Henry Ellard, in his second year, the number 2 pick last year out of Fresno State. Let's see it again.
Did you see the fake to Dickerson hold everybody? They just sent 2 receivers out. Look at that. There's Todd Bell, thought he had the ball. And Ellard just muscled it away from Todd Bell, or I should say Richardson, actually. And Todd Bell was there also. Good play by Ellard. He just fought for that ball a little bit harder.
So the Rams are back to within 1 point. We've got ourselves a football game here, and a big one for both teams. As you could see on our replay, the problem was with the hold by Jeff Kemp. Did not give him a good swat at the ball with his foot. And his kickoff taken by Jordan at the 2-yard line. Jordan for the Bears. Runs into traffic at the 17. All down at about the 18. And we're going to see that 63-yard touchdown pass one more time as Proudt made the tackle on the kickoff return.
Okay, here's Ellard with the individual play, and you can tell that the Bears had the play well covered when you have 2 defenders right there, but it was just Ellard just with determination to get that ball and muscle it away from Richardson, and then everybody fell down and he took off down the sidelines. Ended up being easy, didn't it?
Sure did. Kemp with 2 big bombs. His numbers are 4 of 9, not so impressive, but he had the 54-yarder to Ron Brown in the first half that set up a Lansford field goal, and this time he connects with a 63-yard touchdown pass to Henry Ellard. Bears first down. Fuller gives it to Calvin Thomas, who picks up about 3 to the 21-yard line, or maybe the 22 of the Chicago Bears. And the irony of this quarterback matchup is just one of those things that happens only every now and then in the game of football. Steve Fuller here with the Rams last year. Hadn't been a starter since Kansas City. in 1982 when he shared time with Bill Kenny. Didn't get to play for the Rams. Let him go in the offseason in favor of Jeff Kemp, who's been a survivor through a series of backup quarterbacks in Los Angeles. And here they are against each other today in a key game. Fuller, I don't know whether that was a bungled play or not, but he was dropped for a loss by Mel Owens, number 58. Busted play, Johnny, or was that the intent there?
It looked like it was a busted play to me. And Mel Owens helped bust it, a #1 draft choice. Mel Owens. Steve Fuller, by the way, was a #1 draft choice out of Clemson. There's a lot of #1 draft choices down there on this football field.
Lost back to the 19-yard line. Sorry, the 21, a loss of a yard. It'll be, well, the surf is not up very high here in the wave area. The wave doesn't have a lot of foam on it yet. Third down. Fuller for McKinnon, complete. And McKinnon has a first down for the Bears at the 46-yard line, tripped up by Vince Newsom, number 22, the second-year man from Washington. And Fuller again comes up with another big play on third down.
He had a big decision to make because Fuller could have run down the sidelines as he's going out of the shotgun, and the Rams force him out. He can't find anybody open, and here he had a lot of room to run. But wisely, in this situation for the Bears, threw to Dennis McKinnon because the quarterback doesn't get banged up. McKinnon makes the catch, and it's a first down.
McKinnon seems to be running well. He's playing with a sore knee that the Bears were a little bit concerned about. The Bears are 5 of 9 on third downs. And you can see how the numbers favor Steve Fuller's performance. Play action out to Payton, and Payton scrambles to the 45-yard line of Los Angeles. He is just short of the first down, it would appear, as Mel Owens, number 58, pulls him down. And they spot it at the 45, so it will be more than a yard short.
The irony of this game is that the Bears, who have had 20 sacks in the last 3 games, and the Rams came up with a bunch of sacks last week. I don't think there's been a sack in this game except for once when Fuller ran way over to the sidelines and they got a sack.
One sack by the Rams, and that's been it. Second down and 2 to go for a first down. Walter Payton and runs right into Ram defenders. Boy, they just heeled in there and were waiting for him without the welcome mat. It was Mike Wiltshire, back up to George Andrews, and the nose man, Greg Meissner, saying, yes, Walter, here we are. Welcome to L.A. We're not going to let you make the turn. It cost him a yard. It looks like the surf's coming up a little higher here.
A bigger wave going around the stadium now.
Sellout crowd of 69,000 here at Anaheim Stadium.
Their third sellout this year. I think they only had 2 all last season.
John Robinson's football team, despite the injury problems, have made themselves to a 6-4 record and a very solid chance at a wild card spot. And again, the Rams defense led by Meissner, the nose man, the 4-year man from Pittsburgh. They shut down Walter Payton.
They certainly did. The wave is getting bigger. A great play by Meissner, who was quietly really jammed things up in the middle. He is playing a very fine football game.
Number 3 pick in 1981, and he got the job done there. 2 consecutive losses to Walter Payton. That's something you don't see too often. Finzer has punted twice. The last one, not a particularly good one. Angling for the corner, trying to keep the ball away from Ellard, of course. And that one is a dandy. It's going to go out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it. The Bears are helping the official, saying, how about the 4-yard line?
Who's the official there?
And they're going to agree with him within a half yard. So we'll be back with the Bears 13 and the Rams 12. We've got a 1-point margin here, a 42-yard punt by Dave Finzer, as the Bears starting from inside their 5. And the crowd getting into the contest here as the Rams defense has stopped the Bears. Let's see what the offense can do here. Jeff Kemp, who just connected a 63-yard touchdown bomb to Ellard in the last drive. Gives to Dickerson, and he is dropped after a gain of about a yard by Mike Hartenstein.
Mike Hartenstein playing in his 142nd straight game, and Youngblood is playing in his 198th straight game. So a couple of Ironmen playing in this football game.
I love what Jim Hannafin said about Jack Youngblood after last week's game. He said, Jack Youngblood is the John Wayne of the National Football League. 2nd and 9. In motion is George Farmer, number 84. And they go to Farmer. Farmer at the 10, eludes 2 tacklers. Still dancing and has a first down. Tripped up by Singletary, number 50, the middle linebacker. And Kemp and Farmer connect, the third-year man from Southern University.
That's a good play to run because Mike Richardson, 27, had to follow him all the way over in motion, then came back around, and you get the defensive back when he's not set, and Farmer makes some yardage out of it and gets the Rams out of a big hole. Now they're still in a little hole, still behind their own 20-yard line.
Farmer had a big game against the Bears 2 years ago here in Los Angeles, but has not figured a great deal this year. Only 5 catches coming into the football game as Ron Brown's become the third receiver. Here's Dickerson. Dickerson crashes through Bear defenders and gains about 7, maybe 8 on the play. Gary Fensick, number 45, finally stops the big man. Singletary there to help out. 6'3", 220-pound Eric Dickerson.
And watch the center on this play is Dickerson. The center is Doug Smith, 56. He plays off of his block, and you'll see him out in front throwing a block right here as Dickerson comes off the field. That's Panky there, but you didn't get a chance to see Doug Smith's block, but he threw a good block.
2nd and a long 2, we'll call it. We see Dickerson with 63, Payton with 57. Dickerson now back on the carrying pace that he normally would be. He had only 5 carries in the first quarter. Pass is caught, it appeared, by Ron Brown. And let's see if they give him a catch or not. It was low, and yes, they do. And so Ron Brown, the rookie from Arizona State in the U.S. Olympic team, makes a good grab for a Rams first down to the 31-yard line.
You know, he wasn't able to report until after the Olympics were over. You know, he never really got a training camp, and he's not playing all that much, but I think as the time goes by, you're going to see him playing more and more and more because he's got that speed and has shown good hands.
John Robinson says he's going to be one of the real premier receivers. He's a football player, became a track man, and he knows how to catch and how to run. Here's Dickerson again. This time the Bears shut him down at the line of scrimmage. Singletary making the initial contact. Hartenstein there. And there may have been a gain of 2 on the play.
As you see Singletary looking to the sidelines to defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan to get the signals, and then he will bring them back in, of course. And the Bears do a lot of adjusting on defense after the initial call is made.
Singletary's like Jim Collins. He's real happy to be staying in on the passing downs. Doesn't want to come out of there. Collins of the Rams told us the same thing yesterday. He's getting his chance to stay in when the Rams go to their 3-3. Hit shot to Dickerson. He's got a good hole off the left side. Dickerson breaks a tackle. First down into Bears territory at the 48. Al Harris and Otis Wilson made the tackle there. Dickerson continues to roll, the leading rusher in the NFL.
Let's take a look at number 81, David Hill, coming in motion as he throws his block on Hartenstein, pushes 73 out of the way so that Dickerson can cut up the field, and he's so good at that. He turns out acceleration, and did you notice that? He'd be a great gymnast. Almost lost his balance, maintained it. Finally, Al Harris made the tackle, or I should say Dickerson tackled him almost.
19-yard pickup in Bear territory at the 48. First down, Rams. Kemp looking to pass, forced out of the pocket, gets it off, intended for Ellard, and it's over his head, and Gary Fensick trying to get back there, looked up into the sun, seemed to be a little disoriented, but the pass was overthrown that time by Kemp, as you see the defender Fensick.
Well, this time Kemp couldn't find his original receiver over on the left side, so Ellard starts to adjust his pattern, hoping that Kemp on the scramble will spot him, and I think Kemp more or less threw it way down the field trying to get himself out of trouble.
Ellard thought he would be drafted by the Raiders. He wanted to play in California badly. He's from out here, went to school at Fresno State. The Raiders passed on Ellard and took USC guard Don Mosbar. John Robinson has since said they had Mosbar rated ahead of Ellard too. But when the Raiders took Mosbar, Rams wound up with Ellard. What a happy marriage that's been, as we have a timeout on the field and a good look at the congressman's son as we have the Bears in front by 1. We're back at Anaheim Stadium, and next Saturday we'll have a doubleheader of college football for you. The Michigan Wolverines, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the big rivalry in the Big Ten. An Ohio State win would send them to the Rose Bowl. And waiting for them at the Rose Bowl, should they win, will be the Trojans of USC. His victory over Washington yesterday propelled them into Pasadena. And their rivalry in the Pac-10, UCLA Bruins. So even though USC is already in, you know that'll be a dogfight. Doubleheader action next week on CBS Sports. 2nd and 10, Los Angeles Rams. Bears territory at the 48. Jeff Kemp, the quarterback. They give it to Crutchfield, and Dwayne Crutchfield, getting his first carry, picks up close to 5 yards. Former New York Jet, Houston Oiler, picked up in a deal with the Oilers in the offseason. And there's the Dallas St. Louis score. Boy, that one is, I have a feeling that game's going to go like that the rest of the way, much like this one here, Johnny. A 3-point margin for the Cowboys. Look at this. Tampa Bay has come back against the Giants.
And John McKay has announced that he is retiring as coach after the season is over.
Time winding down here in the 3rd period. They'll get this play out or not, and they do not. So we'll be 3rd and 6 for the Los Angeles Rams at the Bears 44 when we begin the 4th quarter. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Honda, makers of the new Accord SCI 4-door sedan. Exceptionally smooth Michelob. Where you're going, it's Michelob. And by Skoal Long Cut Smokeless Tobacco. Easy to use with a great taste that could only come from Skoal.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at Anaheim Stadium. The Bears with a slender 1-point lead, and that coming on a missed point after by Lansford on a poor hold by Jeff Kemp. Kemp, meanwhile, has moved up to 6 of 12 passing, close to his 51% seasonal percentage. And you see that total offense number as we begin the 4th quarter of play with the Rams to our left. Play action. Fake to Dickerson. He's got Ellard. Ellard first down at the 23-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Bensick made the tackle there, and the Rams are threatening again.
Just a quick post, and they beat the double coverage because Bensick was helping out on the inside. Ellard down and into the inside, and a nice pass by Kemp. Put it right on the dime. Ellard makes the good grab and takes his punishment. The Rams have another first down to the 24-yard line. Henry Ellard.
20-yard pickup. Kemp now 7 of 13, and the 3rd catch of the day by Ellard. He's got a 63-yard touchdown bomb already filed away. First down Rams. They trail by a point. Dickerson, the lone setback as usual, and trying to get wide, got away from Bell, and 5 Bears converge on him, but he got to the 20-yard line for a gain of 4 yards on the play. Now for another NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim, things are really cooking around the NFL right now. Neil Lomax pulls out, ad-libbing against the Dallas defense. Randy Love will get free in the end zone. The deflection, the catch, and now the Cardinals have pulled it within 3 of the Cowboys, 17-14. Back to Tim and Johnny.
Well, all kinds of exciting things happening in these big games today. Looking down the Chicago Bears bench. Becker and Colbert, the Bears offensive line, hoping the defense can stop the Rams. Gives it to Dickerson, a big hole for Dickerson, takes it wide. Forced out at the 1-yard line by Bensick. Eric Dickerson.
A gaping hole as you're going to see Irv Pankey, the left tackle, 75, get through the hole first there and throw a key block, and then Dickerson dips to the outside, gets a little help from Ellard, and gets by Mike Richardson, goes down almost for the touchdown, knocked out of bounds. Nice running as Eric Dickerson goes over the 100-yard mark for this football game. First guy to do that against the Chicago Bears this season.
20 carries, 108 yards. Last week he had 208 against the St. Louis Cardinals. First and goal from the 1. Rams with a chance to lead. Dickerson, touchdown. So the Los Angeles Rams have jumped into the lead as Eric Dickerson takes it in from the 1-yard line.
And there was a big, big hole as he ran through, and there was Wilbur Warshaw waiting for him, but no contest as Dickerson had his nose into the end zone. Touchdown.
Mike Lansford to attempt the point after. Kemp holding. And he's got it. So the Rams go on top. 19-13 here at Anaheim Stadium as we see Dickerson finish off the 18-yard run, taking it from 1 yard out for the Rams score. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris as the Rams will be kicking off and now holding the lead 19-13 with 13-19 remaining in regulation time. Lansford. Far corner Donald Jordan from the 3. Jordan is met at the 15-yard line and driven back by number 51, Norwood Van, a rookie linebacker showing some enthusiasm as he is playing with an elbow injury, rookie from East Carolina, and makes a big specials teams play. 12-yard return, and there is Eric Dickerson going over the 100 mark and congratulating the linebacker. 7 carries for Dickerson on that drive, 54 yards. And when he goes over the 100-yard mark, the Rams have been 10-6. Conversely, because the Bears expected him to carry almost every time on the ground for the Rams, he had 127 last year against Chicago. Like Ditka said, if we hold him to 127, that's not bad. If he's the only ball carrier, we can still win with that. Well, right now, they're behind. Swing pass for Payton. Suhey dropped the ball, and the Rams have recovered inside the 20 of Chicago. Collins, I believe, number 50. No, Leroy Irvin. Well, let's wait and see. Maybe Gary Green came up with it. They're all congratulating each other there on the defensive play.
Okay, a whole bunch of people as Suhey takes the short pass. It was like a semi-screen, comes up the field to see who knocks the ball loose.
Das.
Looked like the hit from Das, and there's Gary Green who caught it in the air and went down, and the Rams have the ball with a big chance to pad the lead. The Bears are in some trouble now.
First turnover of the afternoon goes to the Los Angeles Rams, and their newcomer from Kansas City, Gary Green, makes the big play. Kemp brings them out. First down, just inside the 20 of Chicago. Ellard in motion. Dickerson. Running room. Bell in pursuit. Dickerson inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. First and goal for the Rams.
Great ad-lib running by Dickerson because the hole was up the middle. Watch the 2 linemen leading through the hole. Todd Bell is hit, and then Dickerson decides to go to the outside, does not cut up this time. And Todd Bell reacted to the outside, couldn't get him. And then Eric Dickerson takes it down 16 yards on that run. So he is really getting up there, piling up the yards as the Rams are taking control of this football game.
They spotted at the 4-yard line. Dickerson with 125 yards on 22 carries. Remember, had only 5 carries in the first quarter as the Bears had the ball for most of that first period. Jeff Kemp opted to take a timeout as he looked at that Bears defense. The Rams 19 and Chicago 13. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris where the Rams lead the Chicago Bears 19-13 and have a first and goal from the 4-yard line. Gary Green recovering the Matt Suhey fumble. David Hill in motion. Pitch out to Dickerson. Dickerson will score. Touchdown. Dickerson, 120 yards ahead of Walter Payton now in the NFL rushing derby. A 4-yard touchdown run. And the Rams widen their lead.
Excellent blocking by the Los Angeles Rams. David Hill makes a really nice block as he stays with Dave Dickerson. 81 there blocking 22. Bill Bain also had a good block on Al Harrison before Harris could get in on the tackle. Dickerson was already into the end zone. Eric Dickerson.
Lansford for the point after. And he got it. So the Los Angeles Rams now looking at a possible 7-4 mark if they hold on to win this football game, and very much in the thick of the playoff picture. We'll be back at Anaheim Stadium in a moment. Lansford will kick it off to the Rams. The deep man, Dennis Gentry now with Jack Cameron for the Bears. Taken by Cameron inside the 5. Cameron trying the sideline away from one tackler, but then dropped at the 22-yard line by Booker Reese, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, number 66. And a reminder that next Sunday's action on CBS Sports will find the Rams at Green Bay. The Packers with a big victory today over Minnesota. Detroit will be at Chicago, and those of you in the Chicago area will see that game, of course. Others will see Minnesota at Denver. Those down in the Florida area will see the Tampa Bay Bucks against the 49ers.
Calvin Thomas is in now at the other running back spot. I wonder if Matt Suhey got in trouble for that fumble.
I would say that's a safe wonder on your part, Johnny. We've seen Mike Ditka give Suhey the hook before following a turnover like that. Payton trying to get wide, shakes out 2 tacklers, gets out to the 25, forced out of bounds finally by Newsom and Owens. And a gain, as it turns out, of about 4 yards on the play.
Mike Wiltshire was really frustrated. He thought he had the tackle there. As 54 gets across the line of scrimmage, gets his hands on Payton. He thought he had him right there, Mike Wiltshire, but Payton squeaked out of it and got up and made a gain out of it. And the Bears ended up with a 3.5-yard gain.
Again, if you joined us along the way, George Andrews, with the knee injury suffered last week, tried to go today, couldn't last the first series. Cromwell out with a knee injury, replaced by Vince Newsom. Both will have arthroscopic surgery tomorrow. The pass by Fuller intended for Calvin Thomas, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Bears sideline to see Matt Suhey, number 26. Hoping to get back in with a chance to redeem himself. He's contributed so greatly to the Bears' success so far this season. Calvin Thomas, who got some work last week against the Raiders in there at the present time. Bears with an uphill climb, 11:38 remaining. And a tough Rams defense determined to keep them in Chicago territory. 3rd down play for Fuller. Under pressure, gets away from Youngblood. Gets it to Calvin Thomas, and Thomas is dropped short of the 1st down. So the Rams come up big. Newsom, number 22, and Irvin, 27, would not let Thomas get to the marker, and Chicago will have to punt.
Let's take a look at Jack Youngblood on his rush. He's going against Keith Van Horn, and he's the one that forced Fuller out of the pocket. So you don't get a sack, but you call it a rush, or I guess that's, for lack of a better word, that was a, there's a word they have.
A pressure.
A pressure, right.
And it is Finzer punting for the Bears.
How about those apples?
Rams will take over.
Brian Bashnagel, who is the up man on the punt formation. And something went wrong as far as the Bears are concerned. You can see 84 right to the right of the center. There's the snap to Bashnagel. The Rams smelled it coming and hit Bashnagel. He could not make the 1st down. The Bears go with a big gamble and lose as the stoked-up Los Angeles Rams stop it, and they have the football first down.
Here's our college basketball season starting on CBS November 24th. The Louisville Cardinals and the Indiana Hoosiers. Should be exciting. 1 o'clock Eastern time. Talking about excitement, frankly, I'm almost dumbfounded at that play there, Johnny. I think with 10:44 on the clock and 2 touchdowns that could put you back up by a point, I don't know whether that's a call you're going to make there. What do you think?
It's against the odds. There's no question about that. But Mike Dick has always been a gambler. He tried something that did not work. It could backfire big.
A lot of time left in the game. Meanwhile, Kemp is going for Farmer, and a defensive play by Terry Schmidt, number 44. Getting a hand on that as Farmer had a step on him, and Kemp delivered another fine pass. But Terry Schmidt able to get a hand on it.
Terry Schmidt was inserted into the game in this situation. He's got to be a little bit cold, and he was beaten by a step, but the pass hung up there for a while, and Schmidt did a great job of recovering and knocking the ball away. Terry Schmidt, an 11-year pro out of Ball State, who has lasted a long time in the NFL.
Interesting thing here, the Bears have got 3 defensive substitutes in. Dickerson, Wilbur Marshall, Terry Schmidt, and we're not sure what the reason for that is either, but it's Ram ball. 2nd and 10. And Dickerson plows his way over the 20-yard line. Eric Dickerson, stopped by Wilbur Marshall, but a first down for the Rams at the 17-yard line.
The Rams had a big deficit in yardage gained against the Bears, but they have taken over the yardage lead. There's Herb Pankey out front. He throws a nice block, and Dickerson with great form goes up and over and gets some big yardage before Dickerson and Wilbur Marshall are in on the tackle. And the Bears do have quite a few. Sean Gale's over on one of the corners because of Frazier. I don't know if Mike Richardson got hurt, or we haven't been told that he has, but anyway, Schmidt is playing on the corner.
Marshall for Al Harris. First down, Rams. Kemp. Ball, I think, was tipped by Richard Dent. And a good play by big number 95. Now for another NFL report. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Ken, the Buccaneers now have taken charge, and it's been this combination. Steve DeBerg to Kevin House. This is for 42 yards. Earlier, they hit for a touchdown pass. James Wilder then runs it in, and right now the Bucs are ahead of the Giants, 17-10. Back to Tim and Johnny.
Wow, that's certainly interesting development. The Buccaneers and the Giants, the Giants in the thick of that situation with Dallas, St. Louis, Washington, the Rams. Spots. Dickerson this time is dropped right at the line of scrimmage. Forcing play from Otis Wilson, number 55, and then Keys and another Bear at the bottom of that. Todd Bell, number 25. Well, Washington winning today moved to 7-4. The Rams appear headed that way to a 7-4 mark. Dallas and St. Louis still battling each other, and the Giants trailing Tampa Bay, as you just saw. Time still remaining in the Dallas-St. Louis game of the Giants-Bucks.
The key for the Rams has been to avoid the sack. Kemp has gotten rid of the ball before the pass rush can get there when he's at the pass.
3rd and 13. Here's Dickerson. Dickerson's been the force on the ground as usual. And he gets close to the 10-yard line. He'll spot it at about the 11.
And this will be a big field goal attempt because of the fact that they missed that extra point. This will put them more than 2 touchdowns ahead. So it's a vital field goal for the Rams, so that 2 touchdowns by the Bears would not nip them by a point. So,
well, Dickerson couldn't get the first down yardage, but he's got Lansford in good shape here with the ball being spotted at about the 18. Let's see where Lansford points. It's going to be at the 19-yard line, so a 29-yard try for Lansford. And this could be the cementer. Got it. Mike Lansford's 3rd field goal of the afternoon. From 21 and 45 and now 29. And what would appear to be an insurmountable lead for the Los Angeles Rams in a very important game. They lead 29-13, 8:16 to play. Mike Lansford, who has 3 field goals to lead a 23-point onslaught in the second half by the Rams, but none by the Bears. Kicks it off, and it's taken at the 5-yard line by Cameron. And Cameron is tripped up at the 22-yard line by David Crowdip, that very aggressive defensive back who does so well on the special teams. And St. Louis is pulled into a tie with the Cowboys. That one looks like it's going to go right to the wire in the fourth period. Both those teams at 6 and 4. A flag down on the kickoff play.
Offside, number 28. Declined. First down.
So the Rams had some of the offside, but the Bears declined getting first down at their own 25. It was Craddock who made the tackle. It was offside. Next Sunday, the NFL Today will feature this feature. A body by Gastineau. No, that's Mark Gastineau. It's not the new automobile designer. Mark Gastineau of the New York Jets, who is the sack leader in the entire National Football League with 17 and a half. He's got some kind of physique that you're going to get to see. I can't wait. Fuller to Payton. Payton shakes a tackle by Johnson and has a first down for the Bears, fighting his way to the 43-yard line. Finally stopped by Newsom, number 22.
You talk about tenacious running. You saw it right there as Walter Payton came out of the backfield. Fuller spotted him right there over the middle. And the thing I'd like you to notice is that after Johnson misses a tackle, watch Payton dip into the tackler here, who is Newsom, right there. And Newsom just got underneath it, but he really took a jolt from Walter Payton.
19 yards, the gain on the play to the 43-yard line of Chicago. The Rams, as you can see, 23 points, 211 yards to 98 by the Bears. Fuller off for Calvin Thomas. Thomas batters his way for a first down, and one of his own men was bashed on the play, Dennis McKinnon. A little slow to get up. McKinnon trying to throw a block for Thomas, got into the traffic pattern.
He certainly did. As 33, you can see Thomas circles out of the backfield, and he is mainly a safety valve for Fuller. And then he's a big man, about 230 pounds, 235. And boy, what a collision there between Eckern, McKinnon, and Thomas. But McKinnon got up.
It is second and less than a yard as McKinnon gets a little rest from that. And Brad Anderson, number 86, is a wide receiver. Has not had much action so far this year. Blitz. Fuller off to the tight end Dunsmore, and Dunsmore has a first down to the 40-yard line of the Los Angeles Rams, where Mike Wilcher and Vince Newsom combined to make the tackle, 54 and 22. Well, San Diego in front of Denver, 13-6 in the fourth period. Surprising Denver Broncos having an outstanding season, topped the AFC West at 9-1. And Tampa Bay has widened the lead over the Giants, really hurting the Giants' cause. Bucks not going anywhere. Giants in the thick of things. First down for Chicago. Fuller gets lots of time trying to find an open man, and now runs out of time. It is Wilcher, the linebacker, dropping him for a loss back to midfield. The second-year man from North Carolina playing for the injured George Andrews.
Well, that Ram defense is really getting stoked up. 54 is Wilcher to the outside. He goes by the block by Walter Payton. A good enough block, but Fuller couldn't find a receiver, so he had to kind of stand around a while. And Wilcher showed tenacity. He kept coming, didn't take that little breather after being blocked, and made the tackle. 2 sacks for the Rams and none for the Chicago Bears.
The leading sack team in the entire league is 47. Second and long. DeJournay is in. 4 down linemen. Fuller forced out. Throws it deep for Willie Gault. And it's broken up by Ivory Sully, number 37.
Willie Gault is complaining, but I don't think he has a legitimate complaint, because Sully was going for the ball. And once that ball is there, both players have a right to a path to the ball, and I believe that's what Sully was doing. Gault was open, but Fuller just couldn't get enough on the ball, and there is Sully. I'd say it's legal, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes, that's a good defensive play by Ivory Sully, who is the nickelback now, a role that Newsom would normally fill, but Newsom is in for the injured starter, Nolan Cromwell. So Sully getting work on the passing downs, and it'll be 3rd and long. Out comes Meissner.
3rd down, 20 yards to go.
And that Ram pass rush, the Rams have gotten the Bears into a problem that the Bears over the past few games have gotten other teams into. They're forced to throw now, and all of a sudden the Ram pass rush is coming to the fore.
Gary Jeter is in for the first time today, we believe. He's just off injured reserve with a back injury. One of their better pass rushers. They have missed him this season, not all year. Complete to McKinnon, but well short of first down yardage, a gain of about 9. Johnny Johnson, number 20, made the tackle, and the Bears are into a 4th down situation. Gary Jeter, the former USC star and New York Giants player, picked up the deal last year, has been hurt all season long. John Robinson is happy to have him back because he is a good pass rusher.
4th down, and Mike Ditka says go for it. I guess they go for it here if they win the 4th back on the 20, on their own 20.
I'd say this does not come as the shock that the last one did to me, at least. No shock here. Fuller for Payton. And Payton will not get the first down as Youngblood and a host of blue-shirted Rams, Owens, and Gary Green there to stop Walter Payton, and the Rams will take over. The crowd loves it. Back at Anaheim Stadium, where the Los Angeles Rams have stopped the Chicago Bears cold, and they have the ball on the turnover of downs at the 34-yard line of Los Angeles. Crutchfield is in at the running back spot with Dickerson. One of the rare times they've gone to the 2-back, and Crutchfield picks up about a yard, maybe 2. Another workmanlike job by Jeff Kemp today. The numbers won't look spectacular at the end, but he came up with the big plays again, and the biggest one of all was the bomb to Ellard, 63-yard touchdown.
And you got to wonder, everybody assumes that maybe Vince Ferragamo is going to be the #1 quarterback when he comes back, but while Kemp's numbers aren't spectacular, the team is 6-2 since he took over at quarterback, and Ferragamo did not have a great start this year. So John Robinson eventually is going to have a major decision in there.
He has been ducking that, too. Yeah. Dickerson this time stopped right at the line of scrimmage. I think Robinson has handled it very wisely here in the LA area, because he's just saying, well, why don't we just wait and see when Vince is ready, I'll make the decision. So many things can happen in the interim, and so would not commit himself as to whether Kemp would continue as the starter or Ferragamo would take over. He said, let's wait and see when Vince is ready, how Kemp is doing, how the team's doing, then I'll decide.
And you brought up an interesting point a few minutes ago about the fact that Schmidt was in and Marshall was in and Dave Dickerson, whether the Bears made some wholesale changes in defense there before the game was really decided, or whether all those guys have gotten minor injuries. We have received no word of injuries to those players, so there were some changes made in the lineup.
Well, that's exactly right. Fensick is one of the players who's gone out, and Al Harris has gone out. So we have a timeout on the field, as you've deduced, and this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. The LA Rams, with this victory today, will have the same record as the Bears, and they, more importantly for the Rams, move to 7-4 and are still very much in the thick of things for those wild card spots, even though it's not likely that they will catch San Francisco. The 49ers, with an easy win today over Cleveland, move to 10-1, but this is the remaining schedule for the Rams. It's certainly in their favor. They don't have a team over 500, and they've got a couple of weak sisters, if you will, in terms of New Orleans and Houston, certainly. And then they wind up against the 49ers, and by then, if they do well in the first 4, won't really matter so much what they do against San Francisco. In fact, Robinson thinks 10 wins ought to get them in.
Now, there's the Bears schedule. They play all teams with losing records the rest of the way, except San Diego, which is 5-5. However, San Diego's winning today, so the Bears are in pretty good shape, even though they're going to lose this game to win the Central Division. They have a big lead, at least 3 games.
Crutchfield is met right at the line of scrimmage by the Bears, and that time the charge led by Todd Bell, the safety man, and Otis Wilson, number 55, the linebacker. So That'll bring up 4th down for the Rams with 2:55 and counting down. Misko comes in. And this is the first punt for Misko in the second half. The Rams just simply took the game away from the Bears in the second half and buried them literally when Suhey fumbled to Gary Green, setting up the Dickerson touchdown that made it a 26-13 lead at the time. Misko just got it away as Richard Dent was in on him, and there's going to be a flag against Dent. Fisher caught it at the 15 and gets to the 20-yard line. And we'll see whether or not the Rams decline the penalty or not. Dent was in there to block, and he made mild contact with the punter.
I don't think the Rams would decline it. Do you?
Well, what were they, 4th and, well, let's see if they get right. Yeah, that's really wind up with the 1st down. I'm sorry, Johnny. Let's see what the call is, and the Rams could wind up
running into the kicker, number 95, 1st down.
1st down. It is Dent for running into the kicker.
He didn't really clobber him. He was trying to slow himself up, but Misko did a good job of saying, hey, he's almost trying to hold him up. Misko was looking for the official, and he saw the call. He said, "That away. I'll take that kind of punishment. We got the ball. It's ours."
On the 42-yard line, the Rams with the football. 2:21 on the clock. Kemp brings him out. Otis Brent bringing two goes wide to the left, Farmer wide to the right. And Dickerson stopped just over the line of scrimmage. Dent and Hartenstein combining the defensive ends. Will be about a 2-yard pickup for Eric. He's had another busy afternoon. The way this game started, Dickerson might have wondered whether or not he was going to get his carries. He wound up to this point with 28, having only 5 in the first period. Payton, 60 yards on 13 carries. Timeout on the field. The 2-minute warning is sounded. We'll be back in Anaheim in just a moment.
There you can see some injury situations as far as the Los Angeles Rams are concerned. On the left there is Nolan Cromwell. If we could just dip down, we'll see that leg situation of his. He's got a pressure cast on the leg.
And scheduled along with George Andrews for arthroscopic surgery tomorrow. So that is certainly a tough break for the Los Angeles Rams to lose 2 starters. It is 2nd down and about 8. That is Crutchfield breaking loose, and Crutchfield, but Dickerson in pursuit, gets all the way to the 20-yard line. Dwayne Crutchfield, 245-pound running back from Iowa State.
And boy, did he run over Otis Wilson. 55 is in on the right there is Otis Wilson, 55, trying more for the arm tackle, and you can't do that against Dwayne Crutchfield. He's a big running back, finally caught from behind by Dave Dickerson as the Rams are piling up the yardage. This is going to be the most yardage and most points that the Bears have given up this season in a long time. Maybe the St. Louis Cardinal game. Other than that,
36-yard pickup for Crutchfield, and the 1st down at the 20-yard line of Chicago. 105 and counting. Crutchfield again gets about 2, maybe 3. And Singletary and Russ Bollinger have a word or two for each other.
Russ Bollinger over from Detroit getting a chance to play here in the latter stages of the game.
Good-sized offensive line of this Los Angeles Ram team.
Well, the Bears have timeouts, but they're not taking them, so I think they have accepted defeat, don't you?
I would say so, and they had a 3.5-game lead in the division coming into the game, and certainly they played this game well into the second half, trying to get the win, which once combined with next week could have clinched the NFC Central, and they'll have to wait another day for that opportunity. And that is Barry Redden, number 30. Stopped by Wilbur Marshall, the Bears' #1 draft choice this year, and they're just going to let that clock wind down. So the Los Angeles Rams have done themselves some good here today. They moved to a 7-4 mark. They probably won't capture the 49ers as John Robinson and Mike Ditka exchange greetings and congratulations, and both coaches perhaps feeling that they're going into the playoffs. It's less definite certainly for John Robinson at the moment, but his team very, very much in that wild card picture. He thinks 10 wins will get the Rams in. And John Robinson, what a guy he is. I mean, look, he's out there saying hello to a lot of these players on the Bears team.
I think he was looking for Walter Payton because he said he's a great running back.
Our executive producer, Terry O'Neill, and our senior producer, Charles H. Milton III. Our producer here at the site, David Winter, and our director, Peter Bleckner, an outstanding production and technical crew, Joe Carolay, our associate producer, and field technical manager, Brooks Graham, always makes things work for us. And here are the guys that really matter, make it all happen for you, bring you the fine pictures every week on CBS Sports. So, Tim Ryan for Johnny Morris saying so long from Anaheim Stadium, where the Rams have won.